It's one thing to discover what your sole purpose is or gain a rough idea of what you want to, but another thing entirely to actually put that into action day to day. Especially when our sole purpose appears unrealistic or beyond our current physical circumstances, cultivating faith is difficult. Make a plan. Following our sole purpose is not always going to be glamorous. One of the best things we can do is to put pen to paper and outline where we'd like to go. Take the ideas and inspiration you have accumulated thus far and compile it onto one page as best you can. What are the common threads? When we are working with our energy, it can be easy to keep it all internal, all in our mind. And forget that action is an important aspect of things too. When we feel inspired, allowing this to guide our actions. Create a rough goal from this and break it up into smaller chunks. Most of the time we aren't intimidated by following through on a goal itself, but by how imposing it looks all at once. Focus on the energy you need to bring to each day. Cultivate consistent energy. Bring a different energy to the day-to-day routines you already have. Working with our spirit doesn't mean we have to push our existing obligations aside, even if it feels tempting to do so. Intuitive development is about being open to our heart, but bringing our brain with us. What is inevitable after a spiritual awakening is that we will bring a different energy to our daily routines. We can view our spiritual life in contrast to our physical life and feel further discontented, or we can enrich the activities we do every day with our spiritual awareness. Walking to work can be a spiritual exercise, washing the dishes can be a spiritual exercises, living in environments and with people who aren't aligned with us can be a very enlightening experience. Every goal we have will require a different type of energy in order to bring it to fruition. Identify what this is, whether you have to feel more open, empathetic or focused, and bring this into your existing actions. I like the idea that how we do one thing is how do everything, because it really brings things into perspective. If we bring a particular energy to our activities, it's as though we are changing the nature of those activities themselves. Be open to change. As I mentioned before, the soul cannot really be defined in human language. We're doing the best we can. The sole purpose cannot always be understood from a human or logical perspective, and so you have to be open to change. The ego likes to put things into easy definable boxes. This makes navigating the world and protecting ourselves easier, but isn't always how we want to live our lives. The ego will often get in the way when our soul leads us down a specific path. We might feel fear, doubt, anxiety, all of which can sound like and come along our intuition. The ego is likely to create stories around why you can't accomplish something or reach a certain state. Consciously question these stories, feel them out and see if that insight is coming from your intuition or the voices of discontent you've internalized from others. It's sometimes difficult to discern what our soul's motivations are. Not all paths we are led down are going to feel good in the short term. They aren't always going to make sense on a logical level. Following our intuition doesn't always bring us immediate joy. Sometimes following our intuition means confronting difficulty, in order to grow and expand in the most fulfilling way. When we are working with our intuition, we might believe we have to find a completely new path, but more often it's a case of revisiting the ideas that we have dismissed in the past. Retracing our steps and noticing the insight that was there all along.